I thought today's game came down to the second half, our inability to generate any type of offense. I thought that was the difference. I thought our defense was good enough, but the offense was, we just couldn't get anything going, couldn't get to the free throw line. 3 for 17 from three. If you don't make threes, it's going to be tough to win against a tough, a good North Carolina team. I thought that was the difference in the game. I thought we defended for the most part. It's just our offense, we couldn't get it going today. I mean, we got in the lane, we couldn't finish. They made it tough for us. We missed some chippies early. Even in the first half, we had a chance. I think we had a couple of, probably left about 8 or 10 points out there in the first half. When you play against a team like North Carolina, you got to make those. Then also, I think defensively, it was one of our better performances for the most part. But when we did have our breakdowns, they made us pay. In particular, being able to get a couple of threes and a couple of offensive rebounds when we couldn't finish out the possession. I thought that was the difference. Questions?
What's going on, Donnie? Yeah, two technicals today. It really looked like a little frustrated.
Yeah, he was frustrated. Obviously, he was frustrated. It was a physical game. I thought, that had something to do with it. Being physical, and obviously, this is an important game for us. So emotions were high. We were trying to, he was competing. So I think, that was the big part. But again, it was a physical game. They did some things, against him, being physical, trapping him, things like that. So I thought that was a lot of the frustration.
You mentioned tied the game to 44 about 12 minutes ago, and then they were able to make another run. What happened there right after that timeout?
We couldn't score. I thought we, even to tie it up, it was off a defensive possession. Will Kyle stole the ball and pushed it up the line. But we couldn't score. I thought that was the biggest difference. And then, that was when we had a couple of breakdowns defensively where they really made us pay, and that kind of separated the league. And that separated them, and then it was just a struggle to get going the whole second half offensively.
You mentioned the three-point struggles. Is that something UNC was doing to slow you down? I know against Miami they kind of had some different things against you guys that slowed you.
No, I mean, again, here's the reality. I mean, Donnie Freeman, if he struggles, and Nate George, and the Nate Kings and those guys struggle, that's going to be tough for us to make threes. We rely on those guys to make threes, to get some threes up as well, and we just didn't shoot the ball well from threes, and we had some open looks for the most part, and we didn't make them, and that was the difference. I thought, to get us over that hump, to really, keep moving. Once we tied the game, we just had a couple of shots that you got to make, and we didn't make them.
Adrian, were you bothered at all by Donnie's response earning those technicals, or did you just think he acted like a human would act in those situations?
No, it's about recovery. It's about being composed, and at this moment in time, I can, again, it's not what we want to do, but emotions and trying to win and competing, that happens sometimes, and again, it was that. I think the game was kind of in the balance of the last one, but the first one, you gotta be more composed than that, and but it was a frustrating day for him and a frustrating day for us.
If at all, how did your game plan change without Caleb Wilson playing, and how did UNC kind of execute without him?
Like, again, I thought our defense for the most part was really good. I mean, they had 33 at half. They saw 44 in the second half. And typically, if you can hold, in the 70s, low 70s, you got a really good chance to win against Carolina because they score really, really well. So I thought it was just really us not being able to finish possessions, and I thought that they got to the foul line. I mean, they shot 28 free throws. I thought that was the difference.
What were still the problems that were preventing you from scoring, especially in the second half? In some cases, was it guys trying to do too much?
Well, I think obviously we weren't shooting the ball well, so I think they had a chance to really kind of pack it in a little bit. They made us. They got back in front of the ball and made us take some tough contested twos. I thought that was a difference. We were able to get a little bit of window, a little bit downhill. Again, we're a team that really relies a lot on ball screens and ball screen reads and rolling and playing that way. And I just think, they did a really good job of keeping guys in front and making them take some tough twos. Well, I mean, again, when the ball is not going in, I thought I thought they were allowed to really, pressure and pack in, and they always make it hard for you to come over to get the ball. So again, when the shots are not falling, that court shrinks, man. That's just what it is. I mean, and then when we tried to get it in there, they did a good job of making us take tough. They were very physical defensively, chesting up. So when we did get the ball in there a couple of times, we didn't convert. Again, you got to make shots, and we didn't make enough shots to beat this team.
Time for one more.
Coach, you guys only had 6 assists today. Did you like your ball movement, or was it just a byproduct of missed shots?
Well, I think it was because the ball wasn't going in. So again, it's only going to be so much ball movements and so many screens when they can go under, they can play a certain way when the ball's not going in. When the ball's going in, the floor gets bigger, and now you get more ball movement. Today, especially the second half, the fact that we just couldn't make shots, I thought that had a lot more to do with it than the ball movement. So thanks guys.